All right, chat. Let's watch this Asmongold video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you guys are watching this on YouTube. Let's get into this one.
Just about 6 months or so, I have had to endure a relentless amount of personal attacks, lies, and misrepresentations that are intentionally disingenuous in order to align me with beliefs that I've actively spoken out against. This is another instance of people trying to paint me as a Nazi. Now, this is a very, in my opinion, an extreme accusation to make. This is a crazy accusation to make. So anyway, I'll read the first post here, and this is Asmon asserts that Nazis burned down the Magnus Hirschfeld Institute of Sexology in 1933, not because it was a safe space for queer people, but because it was written in Jewish, not German. That's actually not what I was talking about.
I did see that thing on TikTok going around where they're saying that they burned the books, all the the transgender stuff and all the pornographic stuff. I did see this topic going around, so this is a hot topic.
Person's just actually completely wrong. I was talking about the book burnings. So this is what I said in the clip.
Let us remember that the Nazis burned the books that the Nazis burned books on gender sciences.
They did do that. Like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German. Which was me misspeaking. I meant Hebrew. Was like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was like the uprising of the Nazis. Right, a retaking of Germany for Germans. They also burned porn. Yeah, they burned a lot of stuff. And I wish people like this. It's disappointing that you can't have genuine conversations because people try to just kind of, handpick facts and not talk about things in an honest way. This is the kind of stuff that people try to take out of context where they're saying, oh, Asmon thinks that it wasn't. It's actually because I'm trying to discuss the actual real extent of it, and the true extent of it is much worse than what's being communicated.
Also for context, and this is going to be extremely important for the rest of the video. People are mainly trying to get Asmon banned because of chat's reaction following this clip. We meticulously went back to check, and every single one of these chatters were banned, and they were banned days before this tweet was even made.
These bad actors were banned.
See, I really don't like that. Like when people say oh, it's your audience and stuff. You have Hassan's audience that says terrible things. Nothing happens to them. I don't think he bans any of them. You have other people. I can make a burner account and go into anybody's audience and start posting some nasty things. I really don't think you should be really that responsible for your chat. I think you should have mods doing the best that they can to monitor it, because that's the job of a moderator. But randoms coming into your chat and saying nasty things really shouldn't reflect you, because like I said, we could have bot accounts go in there and say nasty things on anybody's channel. So I know Asmon gets a lot of flack for this, but like I said, Hassan's, I see some nasty things in there that never get banned. So I don't know why Asmongold is the only one who gets this negativity from the chat response. A lot of people try to get his Reddit banned for having incels and stuff in there, but people are people. you can't control everybody.
Days before any of this drama happened. Now, this is a person, I actually didn't know who this was. So this is the same person who's trying to get me in trouble on Twitch. Let's listen to what they had to say about everybody's favorite commentator, Destiny.
The guy who said it was on site at TwitchCon if he saw Destiny.
What if I want the satisfaction?
I mean, listen.
Yes.
All I'm saying is on site,
So we have on screen two radical political activists, which is probably the most kind way that I can categorize these two individuals, that are arguing between which of them is going to be able to beat up Destiny when they're at TwitchCon. And they're openly doing this on Twitch. The point that I'm making...
That should be a bannable offense, right? That's actually inciting violence. That's a violent thing they're talking about. That's actually talking about committing violence on a person. But my knowledge, they didn't get banned. And for all those people out there, I know there's a lot of react going on here. Please don't hate. Please don't hate.
Making is that these are people who are advocating for violence on a regular basis, and this is something that happened again. This was earlier this month. This is the same person who, as a response to a video about a CEO, posted a picture right here of the gun that was used to kill Shinzo Abe. So this is a person that not only is advocating for violence against other streamers, but they're advocating for violence against other people in general. This should not be tolerated in any capacity. If you are advocating for or promoting the use of violence against people in a non-self-defensive way, I think you should get banned. These are the people who...
Yeah, that's wild. I also agree on that too. Like, there is like people who say that his words cause violence, but like that's actual violence and nothing happens to them. So I think if you go back to this goes back to when he got originally banned. If you start nitpicking where you want to enforce your TOS, you're gonna have issues with the legitimacy of the TOS. So I really think that this is just an Asmon problem, and it's always an Asmon problem because people just don't like that he says things that are maybe truthful, you know, some things that rub people the wrong way, and people are having issues. Like a lot of people right now, like the cinephiles, right? The cine drama, is because of his political views, what he's saying on politics. And it seems like a lot of people just don't want that smoke, even if it's real or not, if it's false information or real information, they just don't want to deal with it. And it seems like he's getting a lot of negativity just because he's more of a political commentator these days than a gamer.
who are trying, and by the way, I wasn't even talking about burning down the Institute, I was talking about the book burning, so you didn't even listen to the clip. You're talking about something totally different. And so these are people who have been on a concerted effort to misrepresent me on a regular basis, while at the same time allowing and facilitating and promoting political violence. This is something that is guaranteed 100% against the terms of service. We'll go over, of course, obviously, Hassan also had to chirp about this as well.
Again, if you have TOS, you have to enforce it for everybody. You can't nitpick it, or then it just doesn't really have any legitimacy. It's not real TOS. So Hassan should have probably been banned a long time ago, multiple times, maybe a permaban.
Well, he was not happy about it. It's a bit of a miss. Like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German.
This guy's so funny, man.
He's not happy. He's not happy.
There is literally no reason to fucking go to school, study political science, spend years and years.
The irony of this guy saying it, Hassan of all people, like him and Cenk Uygur, like everybody knows these guys are propagandists, and it's just funny to see Hassan saying this, to be honest.
Trying to understand how politics works, the importance of learning history. I'm not an elitist by any means. I think anybody can do this. This is a fucking silly ass job.
He just brought up elitist topics, and then he goes, I'm not an elitist. He just brought up school, college degree, education, everything that would quote unquote validate a person's opinion if they went to those things, if they had those credentials. And then he goes, I'm not an elitist.
But
it is just crazy that, like, what is declared good enough in terms of political commentary on the right-wing side of things. That's crazy. #1 political commentator on the platform. Still
Hassan is really getting upset about this #1 political commentator on the platform. Hassan is the #1 political commentator on the platform. I cover some political issues. Hassan only covers political issues. I've never said that. I've never insinuated that. Now, if he's mad that the videos that I do get more views or something, that's fine. That's okay.
It is pretty crazy that Asmongold watched that fucking Ethan Klein video, and then
he's unhappy that I watched the content nuke video. Now, I understand why he's unhappy. I think that if I was him, I would also be unhappy.
His chat kept coming in here to be like, you're anti.
Sounds like a little saltiness going on here, a little bitterness and a little jealousy, to be honest. And that Ethan video was pretty funny. It was pretty informative.
Semitic terrorism lover, you should be banned. Why aren't you banned yet? Meanwhile,
I mean, to be fair, Hassan, you have been very positive towards people who are on the national terror list. I mean, you have been. Like, this is a fact. Like, this isn't a debatable reality. You interviewed a terrorist, and I defended you interviewing the terrorist. I even defended you with that. I said it's okay because I want people to be able to talk to people. But I didn't see the whole thing, and I didn't realize you glazed him that hard. You didn't have to do that.
Bro, are we about to have a Houthi rebel on stream? Yes, brother. I'm a journalist. Does he know what One Piece is?
He's been watching it since he was a kid.
No way! We love you too, man.
I love you. I love you so much.
It's crazy.
This fucking chat's going based Nazis. But hey, no, wait. That's what a lot of my naysayers wanted, though. They wanted someone.
Now, I'm not going to bring up the point when Ethan was getting attacked in Hassan's chat, and then Hassan said he couldn't control everybody saying things in his chat. And now he's mad at me for not having every single person that's banned in my chat. I just find this to be ironic. I find it to be very...
Like, he is such a hypocrite, dog. He is such a hypocrite. And I 100%, the Hassan thing and Asmon drama is 100%, and we all know it, is because Hassan is just jealous of Asmongold. Like, that comment of the #1 political commentator on the platform, that's 100% salt, dog.
Very ironic.
Well, thank God I'm here then. First point, every singular chatter that was spamming was banned days before the tweet was made. But of course Hassan didn't go back to check and just run with the story. Second point, Hassan had this to say after Ethan begged him to moderate his chat.
Can you, do you care that your chat is calling me racist? Do you make any attempt to modify?
I have not looked at my chat.
Moderate that at all?
I have not looked at my chat at all, but you have
I just opened it, but don't you have moderators? Do you care at all about what your audience says about me?
There's 32,000 people in here right now. I can't stop people from viewing you a certain way.
One can only assume what chat...
And I agree that, he should, like Ethan says, don't you have moderators? They should be doing their job. But I also agree with Hassan. There's 32,000 people in here. I can't be babysitting everybody says on the internet. I can't babysit every comment. I agree with that. But you have to have that same mentality when it comes to the whole entire platform. If somebody's in your chat saying inappropriate things, it's not you saying it, it's that individual. But you can't be saying that to Ethan and then saying, "Oh, Asmon's a piece of shit. He's a Nazi. He's a racist." Blah, blah, because his audience is audience is full of incels, so he's an incel. Like, you can't be saying that, dude. So I personally do not really like Hassan.
That might have been spamming when Twitch literally had to change the rules around the use of the word Zionist after it was paired with every derogatory term imaginable. This time he had most of the chat covered by Ethan's cam. Let's check other times. This is a letter from a...
You know it's a major thing when the editor of Asmongold's videos is in the main video, not just the clips.
Columbia Jewish student denouncing harassment by other campus students and receiving no support.
I wonder why we recoil when people scream "resist by any means," telling us that we are all inbred and that we have no culture. We shudder when an...
This is literally chat's immediate reaction after he said the Jewish students were being called inbreds.
On the way out, a pro-Hamas mob started chasing us, calling us in the middle of campus, calling us inbred, that we have no culture. One of them grabbed my friend's Israeli flag in the middle of campus, carried it to a mob by the gate that were communicating with the angry mobs.
Now you're probably thinking, but editor, surely Hassan banned all of these chatters, who coincidentally are all subs as well. Well, let's check, shall we?
What do you think, chat? Do you think if there are subs, he banned them? I think the money, probably no.
All right, first sub on top, Jedhug. Uh-oh. They were never banned, and he's still chatting to this day. Let's do another one, the Red Star. Big sub gifter as well. Nope, never banned for that either. What about Jordan, 3 years sub, and still going strong? What about Lund? Literally chatting while I'm making this video. Okay, I think I made my point clear. Back to you, Baldy.
And see, this is the difference between a lot of the other extremism on Twitch and the extremism that's on my platform. The difference between extremism in my chat and extremism in other people's chat is that in my chat, people actually do get banned for it. Me saying that these books were burned not because they were about gender specifically, but just because they were non-German. Why don't we look it up and why don't we find out for ourselves?
So again, like I said, this thing has been circulating on TikTok. I've been seeing it, and I honestly have not looked into this as much as probably Asmon has, so this is gonna be new information for me. But I did see that people were saying that the book burning was gender specific. Like they had transgender stuff. They had not just specific, but a lot of it had transgender stuff, pornographic stuff, homosexuality stuff, like everything that had like sex involved in non-traditional sex was being burned. So I did see something to that extent. And I believe Asmon is saying that it's not just that, it was because they weren't in the German language. So that's what a lot of this drama is occurring. So I'm actually kind of interested to see this part.
How about we watch the video from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum? Do we think this is maybe a good, is this maybe a good source?
In 1933.
Is it a good source, chat? Only if it helps his case. If it doesn't, then if it proves him right, everybody's gonna say it's a bad source.
In April, Nazi German students decided to organize a nationwide book burning program to eliminate foreign influence, to purify German culture as they saw it.
That's right.
So you have committees of students.
So this is exactly what I said.
Meeting with professors together, deciding what categories of books in these university libraries.
Let's get to the categories.
Would count as un-German. They didn't see themselves as suppressing.
Un-German. Let's go back and watch the original clip. And it was like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was like, this is, again, my source for this is the Holocaust Museum of the United States.
Looks like it checks out, chat. Looks like he was right. W's for Asmon, I guess.
Each German university city, 34 of them in all, thousands of people gathered together at a public place in which books that had been confiscated either by the students themselves, often with the help of police, were brought and dumped in a pile. Student leaders exhorted their followers and the listening crowds to swear an oath by the fire to destroy and combat subversive and un-German literature.
It's like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was like
Looks
the
like
uprising of the Nazis.
The credibility there. It's credible. Looks like it's correct.
Sure. For the national treason.
So I guess the quote-unquote perversion of traditional sex is part of the culture too, because I know Germany is pretty like that, right? So that's probably one aspect of it that was getting highlighted on social media, and that's what social media can do. It cannot. Sometimes it could give you the right information, sometimes it could skew you, or it could just single out something. So it looks like there was a bigger picture here, and we were looking at a microcosm.
Against our soldiers in World War I, we're burning Hemingway's books.
Joseph
Hemingway. Wow. That doesn't seem like it's about gender at all.
It is amazing to me, the variety of books that...
Variety, okay.
That was
very big variety,
on that night and thereafter.
Among the authors whose books were burned were Ernest Hemingway, both Mann brothers, Thomas and Heinrich.
There's the German writer, Erich Maria Remarque, who wrote the famous book All Quiet on the Western Front.
Another gender ideology book. And then also Hassan would probably, I don't know if Hassan knows this or not, Hassan would be very upset to hear this. They also burned some of Karl Marx. They burned Lenin. They burned Trotsky. They burned a lot of communist books as well. Yeah, not Marx. Yeah, they did. They got rid of them.
That they were all considered.
I am kind of curious how Asmon already knew this. I like to think that I'm somewhat informed, but I was as like informed. Like, was he a history major in college or something like that, or he just a history buff, or maybe he's German as well? I don't know. How do you know all this? Like I was aware of the book burning. I was aware of like I said, the trends on TikTok. But I wasn't as informed. I'm just curious.
They're dangerous by the Nazis.
Yes.
Reading about Anne Frank, they discover that they are that little girl, and that what happened to that little girl was a supreme act of injustice.
This is, I mean, like, I guess maybe we won't make the Houthi joke, but like, man, it's really hard not to, isn't it? It's really hard not to.
It's literally like talking to fucking Anne Frank, basically. Okay, being able to talk to Anne Frank.
So they connect to her in a way that no political sermon or propaganda could effect. And for tyrants, control is the main thing. They don't like this unpredictability. They don't want the citizens to connect to the unknown parts of themselves, of their past, and to connect to the world.
So for a totalitarian...
That's, again, why people want to get me banned, too. It's because I talk about things in ways that people don't approve of, and so they want to destroy my platform and get me in trouble because they don't want me to be able to have a voice.
And that's what we were saying earlier. Asmon kind of says like the truth. He kind of says what's on his mind. He's unfiltered, and nobody really controls this guy that we know of. And they just don't like that. They just don't like him saying what he wants to say.
That's the reason.
The only thing that they cannot put in jail or prevent from physically leaving is your mind, is your imagination. That cannot be captured.
Which is why freedom of speech is so important. And that's why I'm such a big advocate for it. Is because I know that the people who try to limit freedom of speech and they try to, put limits on it and stop people from saying certain things, when you live with your mind in a cage, that's only the beginning. It's never where it stops.
But the idea of freedom should be kept alive, even if it's between 2 people or 3 people. Talk about it.
Fucking based. Absolutely fucking based.
You know what's crazy too, that the people that want him canceled, the people that are like against him, the people that want him to shut up, it seems that they are advocating for things that they are against, but since it's Asmongold, they don't care. You have all these people will scream Nazi, but then they're trying to do things that are similar to what they're against. It is just crazy to see how people could not see the truth, how they could see they get in the tribal mindset and they ignore everything else. It's just crazy.
Think about it, live about it, and hope about it.
And so anyway, basically a clip of me discussing the fact that the Nazi book burnings were not exclusive to LGBT, but they were in fact for a lot of things that were anti-German culture and things that were involved with people being Jewish, communism, etc. This is true, and my source for this is the Holocaust Museum. It's very sad, but one thing that I learned, that I keep learning over and over, is that when people can't win in the free marketplace of ideas, they have to resort to lies. The sad thing is none of them will acknowledge this and keep calling you a Nazi. Well, the thing is that all of the people that have done that, they've already completely gone hollow. There's nothing that I can do to bring them back from the psychosis that they've brought themselves into. But the best that I can do is to offer a measured and, to the best of my ability, educated perspective on why these things happen. What's being discussed here is how these topics and how these patterns are re-emerging in today's society. And I think that it's a very important component.
Well, with that statement right there, you do see a lot of the youth kind of going this way. We're not burning, well, I guess I'm not youth or whatever. We're not burning the books, but a lot of the last political cycle, a lot of men turned Republican. A lot of people between the 18 and 25, I think it was, became Republican first time female voter or first time male voter because they stated that they were tired of the insanity that's going on in the world. A lot of them said that the sexual stuff injected into our society, our students, our schools, was a big factor for that, and free speech and stuff like that. So you have a lot of these men, kind of like you said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. So it's coming back. It's coming back in a way that is similar but not identical, and we are having a push right now that seems to be not as extreme as the past, but who knows if it could get that extreme. But we do have a rise in, it seems like in Republican policies and mindsets.
Component to this, that this was done by primarily young people, because it's really, in a lot of cases, the contemporary wisdom nowadays is that older people are more conservative and younger people are more liberal. But I think in cases of economic depression or national depression, sometimes the opposite can become true. And this is an example of it. And this is what I've been talking.
Most movements are done by the youth as well. And right now we see a change in the youth mindset. I'm not sure if that's due to college. A lot of, my generation went to college. We were either forced to, coerced to, bullied to, told if you don't go to college, you won't have a future. So everybody would try to go to college. And now a lot of the youth right now are starting to go into trade schools. They're starting to ditch college. There's not as much quote unquote liberal ideologies. So it's kind of a crazy trend. We have like the older people, like the old people, it seems that are very, very liberal. And then it gets like to the 40s, they're more conservative. And then the late 20s and 30s, it's a little liberal, a little conservative. But now it seems like the youth are more conservative. They're more Republican based, which is a very interesting trend.
About this is what I was saying before about how, like, Hitler was getting popular on TikTok, etc. So, like, you guys see how all this is fitting together, how all this is coming together. Well, this is why it's important to talk about this.
Actually, after the TikTok ban for one day, it doesn't seem like we see a lot of TikTok videos. That might be another video, to be honest. Maybe we'll talk about that. It does seem like TikTok's algorithm has changed, hasn't it? It does seem like that.
History is because in a lot of cases, I don't think history repeats itself, but it rhymes. And so when I see certain things happening nowadays, when I talk about the resurgence of these things happening, the reason why I talk about the resurgence of these things like this happening is because I see the precursors of it because of the precursors of it last time that it happened. That's the reality.
I agree.
And so when I'm discussing a topic like what was being discussed in here, trying to broaden the perspective of it, I was actually saying that this isn't good, even if you don't like any trans stuff at all. In a lot of cases, oppressive regimes will take a couple of things that are agreeable and then package them into tyranny and then hopefully sell that to the masses, and the masses buy it because of those couple of bad things. I think that maybe even off stream, Assange.
That's something, what he just said is something that I kind of fear with Trump and Elon right now. I really do like what the Doge, Department of whatever efficiency is doing. I like a lot of the spending that they're finding and they're exposing. A lot of fraud they're exposing. I don't know if you guys saw recently over the weekend, we had, I guess Google Trends shows that Washington, D.C., they're searching like attorneys, extradition laws, stuff like that. Which countries don't extradite? A lot of houses just went on sale in Washington, D.C. I'm not sure how legit this is. I saw it on TikTok and stuff, but I saw a lot of posts about it. And it makes sense because a lot of corruption and fraud are coming to the surface in Washington, and that's because of Elon Musk and Trump. And so I really am for it, right? I'm really for that. But is that just something that's just something I enjoyed? I'm getting like in that, like they're trying to bring people onto their bandwagon and they're gonna flip it on us. The things are gonna, you agree with one thing, but then something's gonna happen that I don't agree with. That's what I fear. And it's similar to what he just said. So it's interesting times we're in, bro. Interesting times.
Should actually spend some time. It's only 4 hours. And if you look at a lot of the comments here, Asmon is lenient on Hassan. There are a lot of people who are criticizing me because I didn't go hard enough on Hassan, and I actually tried to give him the benefit of the doubt the entire time. Because I try to maintain consistency, I try to maintain a lack of bias, and I try to maintain a degree of decorum to make sure that when I'm talking about something, that I do so in the most authentic and accurate way. Now, do mistakes happen? And yes, I did misspeak with saying it was in Jewish. That's very fair. But I think that that's not really the focus of what the conversation was about, and only the most dishonest person would focus on that instead of what the actual context was and the actual meaning behind it. With a lot of these people, if they're worried that they're unhappy that, my content is doing well, etc., maybe they should think about why that is.
Like Cinna. That was his response to Cinna. I have multiple channels doing millions of views, multiple videos doing millions of views. I'm good, girl. I'm good. Worry about yourself.
And I think that one of the big reasons why that happens is because it's honest. And more important than it being honest is that it attempts to be honest. Mistakes are made, mistakes will be made, and mistakes will continue to be made. I will win in the future. I will say somebody is speaking in Chinese when I actually mean Mandarin. I will. But the essence behind what I'm saying, I will endeavor to do my best that it is in fact true. I'm not trying to spread propaganda. I'm not trying to spread lies. I'm trying to be fair, accurate, authentic, and reasonable. And I think that's what a huge contingency of people are looking for in a sea of lies. Are you Team Ethan or Team Hassan? I think that I'm not Team Terrorist. Yeah.
What team are you guys on? I actually am not a huge fan of either of them, but I'm leaning towards Ethan these days. Hassan, I just really don't like Hassan.
I'm not Team Terrorism, and that's where I'm at. I think that's what's fair. And so, yeah, it's that simple.
All right, guys, there you go. I guess Asmongold has been attacked again. We got his response. We got the drama. We got the 411 there. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are thinking about this. I honestly just think they're going after him because, you know, it's Asmongold, and he's saying stuff that, you know, I guess they don't want to hear. I think Hassan is extremely jealous. I think Hassan is somebody who is kind of a hypocrite. I think he is not somebody who should be really talking about politics, to be honest. I think he's as credible as Cenk Uygur, his cousin or whatever uncle, who got him established. And both of them are just, you know, big babies who like to just hear themselves talk. They're in it about the grift. They're both grifters. So 100%, I would never recommend anybody to listen to them, but it is what it is. But let me know in the comments below what you guys thought. Hopefully you guys liked and subscribed. We have a lot more React content coming out. And if you guys have been on our Twitch, you know, we haven't streamed on Twitch for a couple weeks now because our main computer, our big rig, has an Intel 14 processor. It's in the shop trying to get fixed, but I might have to just change it to AMD, dude. I might just have to go AMD because this Intel is just crashing on every game. So, all right, chat. I'll see you guys for the next one.